And we're back after a brief break. You're listening to and watching South Texas Crossfire with your host, Attorney Joe Flores. Catch us each and every week. And don't forget, we are on Facebook and Twitter now. Type in my name, Joe Flores, or South Texas Crossfire. You can catch us on YouTube or Twitter. And also, I want to take this opportunity to also mention River City Hospice, a proud sponsor of our show. And remember, hospice just isn't about sending somebody to pass away who's terminal. It's about enhancing quality of life. Right now, we are down on one knee with our medical system, and we're looking at ways to have people that are sick stay at home, not in hospitals, and hospice is one of the ways to go. One of our sponsors, River City Hospice. And we also want to take this opportunity to thank the Lopez family. Each and every time I thank the Lopez family and our greatest sponsor, God. Well, without him, nothing is possible. So with me today, once again, I have the pleasure, your City Councilman, District 2, seeking your vote, John Marez. Welcome again.
Thanks for having me back.
Hey, listen, you were educating me. I'm learning. I mean, I rent and I pay down here at Prosperity Bank Building with the Black Brothers and right over here with my office. Many lawyers, many businessmen, oil and gas, we're all invested downtown. And I was just going to mention the Black Brothers set up the 500, the restaurant, excellent food. And then they have Havana, the nightlife right there. Yes. And then we have Aka, and then we've got Water Street. There's so many great restaurants and great hotels downtown. But you were telling us about how you can make it better and the incentives. Because I told you on the break, you know, somebody's got to speak up for downtown. Sure. You're the voice.
That's right. You know, and it's tough because, like I said, you know, before the break, it's, you know, downtown really deserves its own council member because there's just so many issues that you can get wrapped up in and really need an advocate all the time. But you got to balance it out with the neighborhoods because they have their own issues in dealing with the aging infrastructure in District 2.
And you represent the west side.
I represent part of the west side, yes, all the way out to Crockett Elementary.
Where you grew up?
I grew up in that area. The first 2 years of my life I lived there and hadn't moved too far away. Sam Houston's still part of the west side, and so it's an important part of the community for me. A lot of times, you know, people that are not engaged, they feel that they're not represented, or they just feel that they don't have hope. And I hope that I've done that. You know, I take a lot of pride in when people come up and they recognize me, and not for the sake of knowing who I am, but when they say, "We know that you're fighting for us. We know that you're going to do what's right." And that's all I've ever done. That's all I've ever wanted to bring in representing the people of District 2, Joe, is to do it for the right reasons. You know, I work for the state of Texas. My wife is a dental hygienist. We don't have any business interest. There's never been a claim of us being able to benefit from being on city council. In fact, I think it kind of hurts us in some ways. I have to take my own personal leave just to attend city council meetings, and that's leave I could use to take vacations with my family, but instead I'm taking time off on Tuesday afternoons to go. But you know, I hope and I believe I've done it for the right reasons. I know that I have, and I'll just continue to serve proudly for this next 18 months after I'm reelected, because I feel confident that we will be able to come back and continue to serve the people of District 2.
Well, very briefly, you know, we always want to say a person's not a politician full time. You have your family we've talked about, but also tell us about your work with the department.
I work for Child Protective Services. I work with our new hires now, and what they do is they're new trainees going into our training academy. And so I don't do casework anymore. It's been many years since.
But you were in the trenches.
I was in the trenches for about the first 5 years of my work with the department, and I've been there almost 10 years now.
Well, and I've worked Court 5, and I've seen judges in there that they wrestle with very, very hard problems. And you have seen people at their worst and their best. You've seen abject child abuse, allegations of that. You've seen poverty. And so it kind of ties in. And you see the poverty downtown. You know, there's a homeless problem, which you have helped you know, get those people where they need to be as far as treatment, things like that, get them off the streets, you know. There's a lot of things that we need to address that also the county, we've brought on the Judge Lloyd Neal on our shows, and we've also brought on other county commissioners like Joey Gonzalez. Oh, yes. So I have not, to my detriment, brought on as many city councilmen. So let's talk about the team that you referred to. Sure. How about the other city councilmen? Who are they and who do they represent?
Well, in District 1 we have Kevin Kieschnick, and he represents basically from just west of downtown along the port all the way up to northwest Corpus Christi, Cal Island, Tolosa, Midway area. and he brings a business perspective, and he's been active in the community, but he just brings a slightly different spin to it. And you know, one of the things about the entire team, Joe, is that I think we all bring different angles to looking at the problem, and I think that that's why we have worked so well as a council. But you know, going on in District 2, it's myself. In District 3, we have Priscilla Leal, who her passion is about, you know, serving her district and the people, and she's always
District 3 is
and District 3 is a majority of the west side of town. It does go into some parts of the south side, out towards the Everhart, part of SPID area, south of the malls, more Plaza area.
Oh boy, that's it's all over.
Chunk.
She's all over.
Out towards the airport, she even covers that area.
She's everywhere.
She's everywhere. And so she covers a very good part, and like I said, she's a strong advocate for the people and for the neighborhoods. Then District 4, you have Chris Adler, who has most of Ocean Drive. I do have a small portion of that in my district, all the way to the university and all out to the island. And so she's
got the pretty ocean view.
She does.
Adler,
she does. And you know, she's been active in the community for many years.
Yes, she has.
School board, Del Mar College. And so she also has a balancing act where she has island interest. People on the island kind of see it as they have their own needs, which they do, but also balancing out kind of the mainland needs of the residents that live within the city itself and not over the bridge. So she balances that out, I think, very well. Then District 5, you have Larry Lizondo, who
good man,
he's good man, south side, far south side of town. That's the area he represents. You know, many people time in with his business and with the industry, and he's very much an advocate for that. He makes no apologies for that. But he's a strong leader who also was on the school board and then made a run for council, and he's been a great team member and a good friend of mine as well. Then you have your at-large members, Mark Scott, Nelda Martinez, and then Linda Strong.
I just ran into Nelda. She's really served the community a long time. She's amazing.
Nelda has been, she is such a strong leader. I have so much respect for her, and I enjoy sitting next to her, and we always talk and share ideas or concerns, and she definitely is a strong advocate for all of Corpus Christi, and somehow she's able to balance it all out with the
I don't feel like crossing her. She reminds me like of a principal. If you're messing up, there was a texting issue. I remember she said to one of the councilmen, "Don't text." You know, yeah, man, she's tough.
She will let you know if she does not agree with you.
That's right.
But she always does it in a respectful way. She's never ugly. She's always looking for consensus, and she's definitely a team player. You have Mark Scott, who's been on the council before, and now he's representing the entire city, and he makes no excuses for it. He's pro-business. He wants to see growth happen in Corpus Christi, and he supports pretty much any initiative that comes through, any opportunity that comes in to make Corpus Christi bigger and better. He's going to support it, and so I've learned a lot from him, being serving with him on the previous council 2 terms ago, and now with this council. And then Linda Strong, who was on the council back in the 80s, and she's been a great asset in replacing Judge Chesney when he got elected. And so she just jumped right in like we hoped for, and she didn't skip a beat, has been asking great questions and been a very active part of the council. And then, of course, you have Joe Adame, who he's really, I believe, growing into his own as a leader. He's starting to take a lot of decisive calls and making decisive statements that I believe that a mayor should do. And when the mayor says it, you know, we fall in order. We may not always agree, but we understand that he's the mayor and he's the point person leading the team and leading the city. And so he's done great work. And of course, he's looking to run for 1 term, and then that would be it for him. He doesn't have any other ambitions beyond that. So I think we're going into a great session this next election, where most, I think, of all the council will be returned, maybe just 1 new face. And it's going to be a great opportunity for Corpus Christi to get out of this, the economic problems that we had. Like you said earlier, we're on one knee, but Corpus Christi has fared a lot better than other communities in the recession. And so it's something to be proud of. We're not doing what we need to in keeping our young people here, but I think that that's part of the strategy that we have to take as council to keep on engaging that, and I know that that's been a main priority of Joe Adame as well.
Well, and you brought that up, and I just want to switch gears really quick because we got a few minutes. I want to talk about politics, and we've talked about your service and your vision for Corpus Christi, and I'll let you finish your closing arguments with that, but you have 2 opponents in this election, but I've done the analysis. They're 1-issue opponents, and it's Las Brisas. I saw personally the KRS TV debates, and there was 1 issue, Las Brisas. That's what they got. So they're hitting you with that 1 issue. I haven't heard any plans or anything else, but I've seen them hit you with that issue. And so how do you respond to the allegations or them trying to characterize it and through politics saying that you really don't care about people's health and Las Brisas should come through here and you know, it's a very hard issue to deal with. How do you respond to those attacks?
Well, Joe, you know, you've been around politics a long time, and when candidates don't have anything really to talk about, then they have to go and attack and slam their opposition. And me being the incumbent, that's been their game plan from the beginning. But you know, there is no way that anyone can make a claim that I don't care about our families. I mean, if anyone, you know, my opponents haven't lived here but a few years each in this community. I've lived here my entire life and plan on making Corpus my lifelong residence. And I have 2 children here. I have my family here, all of my family. And of course I care about this community. And of course I don't want anything to happen to us. And so I've always had concerns with Las Brisas. But in my vote, in the vote that we took, which was a resolution, a non-binding resolution, that said if Las Brisas passes state and federal standards, then we will sell them water at a premium, not at a reduced rate, but actually at an extra rate than you would normally charge you or I or even bulk users. And so that's all that we said in that resolution. And so,
but that's if EPA approves Las Brisas.
If the federal government approves it. EPA, we know, has definitely put a stranglehold on projects that could potentially be bad for any community in the nation. So that's what we've always said. Let's allow it to play through. And for me, you know, I had business leaders and I also had labor unions, which I'm a member of CWA, Texas State Employees Union, and I had labor unions coming to me and saying, John, you know, I think the jury's still out on this issue as well, but let the process play through. And in the end, if it doesn't work out, the federal government or state government will kill the project, or the council can always go back and kill the project themselves if they wanted to, because the resolution was non-binding. So with those concerns that came forward, I said, let us put it forward. But I mean, you can go back and watch the meetings, and I definitely talked about my concerns and being torn on that issue, knowing what the perception was and knowing what the concerns were from the medical community and from other people in the community. But this election is more than one issue, Joe. 6 out of the 7 members of my executive committee for my campaign re-election, 6 out of the 7, Joe, are opposed to Las Brisas and actively opposed it at either city council meetings or in letters or emails to the city council.
And you're fine with that.
But yet they still are supporting me. And I think that says a lot about the leadership I've brought and about the message that we're bringing, that this community has to be more than just about one issue.
Well, and closing arguments, I always give you the floor because I talk too much anyway as a lawyer. I'm giving you closing arguments. Why should they re-elect and trust in you as they have in how many terms?
It's been 3 terms now.
They've trusted in you 3 terms. Why should they give you this 4th term? And you're termed out. But why should we trust in John Marez to be your councilman for a 4th time?
Well, this is my 4th and final term, and it's been an honor to serve you. And I've done it for no other reason than I love this city, and I've worked to make it better for the last 3 terms, and I look forward to serving just a year and a half. After that, there will be a new council member in District 2. And I want to continue to serve downtown and the west side and all of the neighborhoods in my community. We have some tough issues like infrastructure that I've been fighting for and advocating for. These are proven records. This is not campaign rhetoric. These are records and comments that I have made throughout the 6 years I've been on council. People know my name, and they know it because I've lived here, because I've been active and involved in a lot of communities, organizations, and I just have a genuine concern for Corpus Christi. This is not about being self-service. This is not about making a dime, because I haven't made any money off of being council. And in fact, I donate all of my city council salary to local nonprofit organizations, which up to date is total over $36,000, because I cannot collect a council salary. You know, I could find other reasons to want to serve on the council, but my main reason is because I want to make our district better. This is my district. This is where I've lived my entire life, and I want to see it better. And we've made a lot of improvements, but we still have a lot more to go, and I look forward to getting us on that path. Starting in 2012, we're going to be working on a new 2012 bond that's going to improve more neighborhoods, more streets and sidewalks, more parts of downtown and North Beach. And that's what my term in council has been, and that's what it will continue to be, as a fighter, standing up for people and making sure that, that the people who feel that their voices are not heard definitely will be heard, with John Marez speaking for them.
Well, thank you. And when is Election Day?
The Election Day will be May 14th.
And if people want to vote early, when can they start?
They start on Monday, May 2nd, and goes all the way to May 10th. And the only day that will not vote early is on Mother's Day.
All right. Well, we'll be playing this program throughout early voting and on Election Day. I wish you the best. John Marez, your councilman, seeking your vote once again for a 4th term. District 2, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for all our sponsors, River City Hospice, Vasquez Flores Home Health, 881-9922, and River City Hospice. Remember, River City Hospice, our sponsor, and the Lopez family. Thank you, and God bless.